Listen, it's just me and the boys today. It's just me and the boys today. We don't know what we're going to say. It's just me and the boys today. Listen, I love it when we have guests, and I actually love it when we don't, because this is actually how we started. We started with just us turning on a camera and talking about whatever from a perspective of people that happen to love Jesus. You know what I'm saying? This is not a Christian podcast. I want to remind everybody, this is not a Christian podcast. I repeat, this is not a Christian podcast. Oh, but Tim, you're top 10 sometimes on iTunes and Spotify. This is not a Christian podcast. But Tim, the majority of the people that listen to this podcast are Christians. This is not a Christian podcast. This is a podcast who happens to be hosted and produced by Christians. And let me tell you why that nuance is very, very important, because you can leave a lot of people out if you start thinking this is your little club and the basement is only for people that think like you, act like you, walk like you, talk like you. The basement is an invitation to everybody. Not everybody's going to stay. I understand everybody doesn't want to adopt this philosophy. I understand that my cadence sometimes is harsh. Sometimes I say stuff you don't agree with. Sometimes I say stuff in a way that you don't like. I get it. But this podcast is for everybody. As long as you're not upset that the views that are held are by people that just unapologetically believe in Jesus. That's all that is. Shout out to my basement promoters. Shout out to my dwellers. Shout out to my press beers. Shout out to everybody that is generous enough to give whatever you give on Cash App and PayPal. And whether you listen or whether you watch, I'm just so glad you're here. Like, thanks for rocking with us, and thanks for being a part of what we're doing. I do want to bring up one stat. It's not something I'll bring up all the time, but I just find it curious. Right now, our viewership is like really, really large, like in terms of the people that consume the content. Yay, we're happy about that. The interesting graphic that I saw on YouTube specifically is that it's like only like 52% of people are that watch are subscribed, and there's like 48% that are unsubscribed, but they watch religiously.
Right now, though, every week it does advance in a good way. We're now at 55.1 subscribed, 44% now not.
Look at that. Y'all heard me that quick? This is a pre-recorded pod, and y'all already convicted by Jesus. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. No, that's dope. And I don't bring that up. I'm curious. I'm a curious person. I muse. I was going to be an investigator, right? I wanted to be a homicide detective. The reason why I wanted to be a homicide detective is because I'm just, well, first of all, I love justice. And so obviously there's the justice side. Like, I don't think anybody should get away with murder. I think they should all be caught and convicted. My thing. But then the other side of it is, I'm always curious, like, what brought you to that point, right? Cypress Hill had a song years ago. I could just kill a man. It's one of my favorite songs of all time in the hip hop culture, in that ethos. So I'm fascinated by that. What brings a person? What anger brings a person? What trigger brings a person? No pun intended on trigger. To the point that they take another person's life. So I've always been curious like that. So when I see stats and figures, it's not a condemnation. It's not like, how come you won't subscribe? How come you won't subscribe? I thought you liked us. How come? No, it's not that. It's just more of like, I'm curious. Why would you keep watching and you're not subscribed? Interesante. Muy interesante. So anyway, that's all. But that's cool. There's a little trend going. Maybe we'll creep up to 60%.
There's that little trend, and the age and gender changes all the time too. It just constantly fluctuates. Now, this go around, we're at 52% male, 47% female who are engaging with all of this content.
That's beautiful.
But what we're still consistently on is like, I guess what God had provision for. We are dominantly reaching 25 to 34-year-olds. Cray.
The earlier the better.
Yeah.
The earlier the better. The book of Proverbs, most theologians agree that the book of Proverbs is Solomon writing to his son who's right around 25 years old as he goes off into living his life as an adult and getting a career and all that kind of stuff. And so I hope the older I get, the listeners stay young.
Yeah.
I love everybody that's listening. If you're 50 and you're listening, great. If you're 40 and you're listening, great. 30. But man, if we can change the minds of 25-year-olds, 23-year-olds, 24-year-olds, 25-year-olds, 26-year-olds, 27-years-old, OMGZ. If y'all, I'm trying to give y'all the cheat code. That's what I hope y'all know. This is free. I could put this on the app and start charging. Am I lying? There are people that are literally doing whole mentorship universities and buy my course and you know, do $10 a month and I'll tell you how to live your life. I'm putting you up on game for free, fam. Stop playing.
Thanks for the super chat, though. Love you.
Hey, super chat. I salute the super chat.
Yeah, dude, for real.
I salute the super chat but I'm just saying though, like, freely I have received, freely I give. This is my gift to whoever thinks it's valuable. Like, you ain't got to mess with me, you ain't got to like it, nothing. But don't act like I ain't putting you up on game though. This is the basement is the cheat code for a 25-year-old. I'll tell you that right now. That's no cap. I know it is. You listening to me at 25, fool, you going to get through life. I promise you, you're going to make less mistakes than I did. Because I already did it. Or I know somebody that did. So I'm giving you the cheat code and salute you because you're going to pass me. You know what I'm saying? Your whole life is going to be better than mine because I did not have this when I was 25 years old from nobody. I had mentors, but my mentors, I want to be careful how I say this. My mentors were good people, well-intentioned people. But you can only take people to the last place you've been. And so I'm asking certain people for directions, and they're pointing me in a direction hoping it's the right way because they haven't been there. And so you got to go with some people that have actually done the work. I wouldn't talk to anybody about becoming a millionaire who don't have $1 million. That seems like a waste of time. You know what I'm saying? I would not want somebody becoming my personal trainer that is out of shape. That seems ridiculous. I'm not sure anybody should be trying to teach you how to combat porn and they still watch porn. Seems a little bit ridiculous. I don't want marriage advice from somebody that's cheating on their spouse. That seems antithetical. So, yeah, I'm trying to put you up on game. I don't talk about nothing that I don't do. And I don't talk about nothing that's not true. I stay within my lane. But within my lane, I'm putting you up on game. And it would be a shame. Bars. If you didn't allow this thing to get in your veins so that you could do something and then go out with a bang. All right, that's it for me now. Spoken Word has been brought to you by Tome. I'm just kidding.
Love you, Chris.
Yeah, we love you, Chris.